So, all right. So welcome to the webinar. My name is kjmeuer, and we also have Amanda Ellis with us today, and we are members of Team TruHEART, and we wanted to share some of our fundamentals of what we do with coaching, because when people talk to us and ask us, how do you fit in a workout? And, I wanted to start eating healthy. I just didn't have time. And then, Monday came, and then the next thing I know, it was Friday and happy hour. And, we get pulled in all those directions too. And I think people think that when you're in fitness or, you are a coach, that you don't get pulled into that stuff, or that, all of a sudden at the end of Sunday night, you're like, oh yes, I can't wait for Monday and I'm going to eat healthy again. And then something happens on Monday and you're like, oh man, I got to work a little harder at this. So the whole idea about today is I'm going to share all of these tips and tricks that we talk about on Team TruHEART, so that you guys can hopefully find some ways to fit in a healthy lifestyle into your life that will ultimately save you time. And then we'll just talk about some other ways to keep up the accountability with fitness and nutrition and time management. So I'm going to open up the PowerPoint, see if this works, because I'm always technologically challenged, as I say it sometimes. And I opened it up earlier today, and it was working just fine. So, but I
had my copy too, just in case.
Yeah, that's why I sent it to you. I was like, oh no. Okay, so I'm gonna. Okay, so I'm gonna try and screen share, so you guys are gonna have to tell me once I click on the PowerPoint if you can. There it goes. Oh. Okay. Oops. Let me make this better. Oh, sorry, team. Okay. Apparently my computer's really slow. Okay, can you see the PowerPoint?
I can.
Yeah, that's good.
Okay, awesome. Okay, so welcome, step-by-step guide to the ultimate accountability partner, fitness, nutrition, time management. This is presented by myself and Amanda Ellis. So again, what is this? This is basically our way to share how we fit it all in, quote unquote, because as a team, what we do a lot of times is getting the same questions of, I want to eat healthier, I want to work out, I just don't have the time. Or I started something and it just didn't work out because I got busy, or work got really, really busy and I didn't have any more time, and my kids, or this. And we all get pulled into those directions, whether you love fitness, whether you're in fitness and you work as a fitness professional, or you are just the average Joe. I mean this in a great way. We are all busy. And most of the questions that you get when you're in fitness is, how do you manage your time to fit it all in? Like, how do you do that? And so for us on Team TruHEART, and all of my coaches that I work with, we all get trained on how to schedule our weeks and how to fit in what we call power hours. And how I even came up with that is because that's how I would work with clients on how to fit in workouts, or how to fit in eating healthy is, well, let's set up this great foundation so that you have a schedule that you can actually commit to, versus, well, I just completely changed my life for 2 weeks to be able to eat healthy and work out, and now it doesn't work anymore. And I can't long-term consistently keep up with that schedule. And that's the goal, is that we want every single person to live life at a 10. And we want people to feel like they're the best versions of themselves. So we are going to share all the tips and tricks so that you, hopefully, even if you only take home one tip or one trick, but it ultimately saves you time, that is the goal for tonight. And so this is just going over that again. We want to support people. We want to keep them accountable to reaching their goals, and create a community of people who believe in making positive choices with us. So to me, this is about a bigger thing than just, okay, we're going to work out and eat healthy. If people are making positive choices in their life, that ultimately rubs off on the people that they surround themselves with. And if I can help, one person, and then my teammate can help one person, and then it just is that domino effect where all of a sudden it's maybe like 10 or 15 or 20 people all figuring out how to save time so that they can work out, they can eat healthy and feel their best. Then they're going to give the best version of themselves to their families, their loved ones, and even the people around them. And that's something that I can get behind. I believe in a community of people who believe in positive choices and being the best versions of themselves, who know that time is our most valuable asset, and that ultimately we just want to help save everyone from feeling like they're frustrated because they try it and it just doesn't work, or they eat healthy for one day, but then again, they get busy or something comes up or they fell off the bandwagon. We don't want that anymore. We want people to know that it's okay if things get derailed a little bit, but if you set a really great schedule from the start, you're already going to be roadblocking and already knowing how to, quote unquote, recalculate when the roadblocks come up, the traffic comes up, the construction, the things that you just don't foresee when you start out on a journey. You can always recalculate, and that's what we're going to go through. So the bigger picture for all of this will always be, if you could create your ideal schedule in 1 month, in 6 months, in 1 year from now, with the workouts and the eating healthy plan that you want, what does that life look like? And so I just want you to, if you do have a pen and paper with you right now, take just 30 seconds and really do think, in 1 week, what would it be incredible if I did 5 days in a row? In 30 days, what would be incredible if I found a workout that I love to do? What if I found a workout that actually fit in the time frame that I have? What does healthy eating look like for you? Is it, breakfasts that are on the go because you always have to rush out to work? Like, you just know yourself well enough, like you wake up at the last second, you need a quick breakfast. Is it, you just know that you need to stop going out to lunch, or you got to figure out how to eat lunch in a way when you're at a restaurant that's a healthy meal? Like, can you pack a lunch? You know what your schedule is, but what are the things that, the workouts that you like? What are the physical activities that just get you excited about working out? What are some foods that you like? And what are some great recipes that maybe you can just, what I call, healthify it, and maybe just switch a couple of recipes? But this is the biggest starting point right now, because if ideally in your head, if you could have the most awesome workout plan and an incredible meal plan to match it, what does that look like for you? That's where you're going to start with all of this. So if you do have a pen and paper, you're going to want to write those things down. And don't worry, I can always share this PowerPoint so that you can go through it step by step on your own, and make sure that if you're not taking notes, don't worry about it. I'll make sure to share it so you can do a little step-by-step guide after the webinar as well. So again, now that you see the bigger picture for yourself, I know that was just a quick 30 seconds, but what is your first step? How do you really create the ultimate accountability partner? Number one, you have to look at all 3 areas of your life: fitness, nutrition, and time management. What do you love to do as a physical activity? What is something that you actually enjoy doing? Not, well, someone told me I needed to stretch, so I'm going to go to yoga. Someone told me I should start running, but I hate running. Those are not going to keep you going long term. Those are something you'll do, but eventually an excuse is going to come up, and that excuse is going to be way bigger than your desire to run. So you need to start first and foremost with something that you like to do. It can be walking. It can be outside the box thinking. It doesn't have to be a workout in a gym, and it definitely doesn't have to be group fitness. Although if you like being around people with workouts and you like to be social in your workouts, that might be something you want to think about. And then healthy foods. What healthy foods do you like? What are the ones that you hate? Because if you get a meal plan and it's all food you hate, there is no way you're going to stick with it. You got to find the things that you actually look forward to eating. Otherwise, you definitely will fall off the bandwagon, because if you deprive yourself over extended periods of time, it's only going to guarantee that you will eventually one day want to go over the top with and indulge yourself. And I'm just as guilty of it as anyone else. I've been on meal plans and things like that, and I can finally have dessert, and it's the big dessert. So I speak from experience on that too. But you got to start there. Like, what foods do you hate? Because don't push yourself to like healthy foods if you hate them. We can find different ways to make a healthy meal taste good for you. Also, with time management, you're going to want to think, do you like shopping at the grocery store every day? Would you rather do it once a week, every 2 weeks? What are your non-negotiable times in your schedule? So think about what you do with work. What do you do with family? If you have to pick up kids at a certain time, if you have certain family obligations you will never be able to miss. What about book clubs, volunteering, charitable work? Are there just certain things that you just need to do that you can't go shopping for healthy meals, that you can't work out? What are those non-negotiable things that there's no matter what, you can't work out and or shop for healthy food at that time? Think about that will help lead you to how much time do you have to really prep for food, and how much time do you actually really want or actually like to dedicate to working out and or prepping for meals. Because I've worked with a lot of people and they'll say, okay, I'm going to work out an hour. And in their hearts, they really just want to work out for 30 minutes. And that's the whole issue, is if you're starting out trying to do something that you really, really, really hate, the likelihood that you'll be successful for longer than 10 days is going to be really hard. However, there are workouts now that you can do in 30 minutes and you can fit them into your life. Absolutely. But the same goes for prepping for food. If you really don't like prepping for food and taking 4 hours on a Sunday to prep all your meals for the week sounds like, like nails on a chalkboard or just the worst thing you could do on a Sunday, you have to be honest with yourself about that. Everyone has things that they like to do and don't like to do. I have a friend who loves to bake, and she has an incredible blog about baking and all this stuff to do. So a Sunday for her spent in her kitchen is ideal. She thrives off of it. Yet she would not want to come to my group exercise class on a Sunday morning before she goes into her kitchen. She wants to spend the whole day in her kitchen. So, it's a little bit of a balance. I can talk to her about doing a workout at home or going for a walk and things like that. But you really have to think it ideally, how much time do you really want to prep for healthy meals and how much time do you really want to work out? Because I don't mind working out an hour, but if you ask me to work out 2 hours, it better be a really great group X class of some sort, because we all have our limits. And so you just have to think about what time do you really want to put towards working out and eating healthy. And then step 2, and I will tell you that I think this is the secret step that no one thinks about. This is the step that if you take 10 minutes to really think through step 2, you have increased your chances of success times 10 in my world, because most people set a schedule about working out and eating healthy, and they don't even look at, but can I actually commit to those time slots? Can I actually spend an hour and a half working out? Can I actually spend a half an hour going to the grocery store and then a half an hour prepping meals? Or, do I need to do it all on the weekend? This is where 10 minutes of planning will save you hours during the week. I need you to take out your calendar an entire week, whether you have a monthly planner or a weekly planner or you use your phone, whatever you use to track your schedule, you need to list out hour for hour everything on that list that is a non-negotiable. So your work schedules, your hobbies, the girls' nights, the football fantasy leagues that you do, the volunteer, the charity work, family obligations. If you have carpool, you have kids sports, maybe you have a weekly softball league. Maybe you like a certain time of day to rest and relax, or maybe Sunday afternoons is you know what, at 3 o'clock on Sunday afternoon, I want to turn off the computer. I want to turn off everything. And I just want to be sitting on the couch with my family. That you got to schedule that, because if you know that about yourself, you want to put that in there. And then spirituality, church, faith, everything that you know about your schedule that is non-negotiable to you, that this is what you're going to be doing at that time, you need to put that down. Put in those blocks of time, and think too about the drive time there and back as well. Meaning, if you know that you have to go and pick up your kids at 3 o'clock, don't just say 3 o'clock I pick up my kids. Say I leave at 2:30, I pick up my kids, and then I'm doing kid stuff until 5 o'clock. Put 2:30 to 5 o'clock family, or kids, or whatever you want to put. But you have to black it out. And I know that's hard, because I've had to do this with literally someone over my shoulder, where I'm taking a marker and I'm lining out hour by hour stuff that I can't do. And you're like, oh my gosh, that's not a lot of time in the day. But blacking it out is going to save you, because when you move on, this is where reality meets the ideal. Or if people say, rubber hits the road, this is where the rubber hits the road. Because now, if you blacked out everything that is on your schedule, it's non-negotiable. You work 8 to 5. There's no way that you can work out between the hours of 8 and 5. It's just not going to happen. That's great, because now you're starting off knowing that you either have to get up early or you have to do it after work. Those are your 2 options. This is where you can actually create a schedule that will be able to be maintained long term. And hopefully, if you do start with a physical activity that you like, you can find ways to do that, and actually at a time slot that you can commit to. And you're not stressing about trying to fit it all in. You just know in your schedule at 5 o'clock, well, I just go to the gym. So you have your real schedule. You have all that time blocked off. Now you need to look at, okay, what time do I have to commit to a workout, and what time do I have to commit to prepping healthy meals and or going out and grocery shopping. Because some people are going to really like to prep meals and take 4 hours on a Sunday to do that. And you have to know yourself well enough. If you're OCD or you're type A and you need that 4 hours and you like to plan ahead, go for it. I mean, own it. I wish, honestly, I had that kind of discipline and I was that great at it. But I'm the kind of person that I have to find things that are simple, easy, and convenient for me right away in that moment, because I travel a lot for work. I drive in a car. I'm on an airplane. I'm never home for an extended period of time right now to be able to do that. And so those are the things that you have to know, not only about your personality, but about your time commitments, because now you have everything blocked off. When can you realistically plan for meals, or when can you realistically put in your workouts? And then look at those time slots and write in your workouts and actually put it in there with your favorite color. Because if you like the color and you like the prettiness of it, I know it sounds silly, but if it's in a color or something that you like, you're more likely to think of it fondly when you look at it in your phone or on your planner, or on your schedule that hangs up, right at your desk. I need to go back. So the number one thing is that you have to be honest about this, and you have to make sure that this can be something that you can ideally do long term. And that's why it's so important. This is where I feel that this is the game changer. Habits are not easy to build. They're incredibly difficult, and they normally take 21 days. And so if you can at least start in a schedule where you think you can commit to this for 21 days in a row, even if you don't know what roadblocks come up, even if you don't know what things are going to make you turn off the road or make a wrong turn and have to recalculate, you can stick to this, because the next day you can get up and just look at your map and your guideline and just get back on the road again. You might get thrown off for one day, but that's okay, because the next day you already know your schedule. And that's the key, is because you're going to get knocked off the road, or something's going to come up and you didn't get your workout in at 5 o'clock because the boss came in and you had to go and present for a meeting. You just had to, there's no way around it. I get it. I've been there. But that the next day you have your plan ready to rock. And so you don't even need a reminder to get back on the bandwagon the next day. You already have that set up for you. And don't worry, there's always a solution. I have worked with thousands of different backgrounds. I would say thousands of different people who like to work out a different way. They've been very honest and say they don't like my group fitness classes and they like to work out this way, or my healthy meals are not the healthy meals that they like. And I mean this in a great way. We are a world full of different people. We all have different likes. We have different dislikes, and we have different schedules. So you can't be cookie cutter about this at all. That's why I say bring a pen and paper to this, because you got to write down all the stuff that's on your schedule and then look at the workouts you like to do with the time you have, and then think about how do you meal plan in that, and do you even like to meal plan? That's a huge question you need to ask yourself. You can try it. I think everyone should at least try it and see if that's for you, and if you figure out it's not, that's okay. There's always a solution. We can dive into so many ways to find a physical activity that you like. Obviously, I'm a fitness professional. I have group exercise classes that I can suggest. I can also suggest workouts at home with the DVD that take no more than 30 minutes. Even just easy ways to fit fitness into a hotel room or hotel stairway, because I've had to do that too. Can you walk around the office at lunch, or maybe go for a walk after dinner? 15 minutes a day. If you see that on your schedule during the week isn't that great, but Saturday and Sunday you can be a weekend warrior, you can figure out all that stuff. If you don't have childcare, there are workouts that you could find that you could probably do with your kids, or go to the local jungle gym at the park and figure out how to fit that in. If you have a staircase in your house or apartment or your office, I can find a workout for you. So if you're thinking and looking at your schedule right now and you're like, all right, I really only have 20 minutes and I don't even have time to drive to the gym and I don't have time to get any equipment or anything, don't worry. I've been very creative with any kind of workout. And nowadays with YouTube and also with just Google, you can Google search anything and find a solution. So don't worry if your time allotted in the physical activity that you like, you're worried about what to do in that time. You will have my contact information after this, but you also know that you can research that. So that shouldn't be a concern. If you know your time, stick with the time you can allot to that and find a workout that works within that time. So now that you've been thinking about your workout schedule, now you got to talk a little bit more about eating healthy. And this is the same thing about workouts. You got to start with something that you like. And more importantly, with healthy eating, you have to know whether you like to meal plan or not. And if you do like to meal plan, do you want to plan for a half an hour on Sunday, or do you want to do just like an hour? Do you grocery shop Sunday morning so you like coming home and you're going to cook all your meat for the week so that you can just heat it up on the go? Do you want to cook your eggs on Sunday so that you just grab them and go? Do you like to make shakes so you just want to make a bunch of shakes or buy the frozen fruit that day? You know, you can meal prep very efficiently. It's absolutely possible, but you just have to know how much you love to meal prep, because if it becomes like this huge task that you really, really hate, and it's like eating the biggest frog of your life every single day, that'll wear on you. And so you want to start, if you're going to really commit to this, you want to start with the amount of time that you think you actually want to dedicate to meal planning. I think everyone can meal plan in 10 minutes or less. Absolutely. And there's definitely a lot of meal plans that we can follow. There's grocery lists that I can send, and different ideas on how to eat clean. But don't worry, even if you're thinking, well, I travel for work, there's no way that I can even prep meals because it's not going to work out. Guess what? I travel for work all the time. I live and die by hotels. I could tell you what hotels have the best food to eat. I can tell you what to get at Starbucks. I can tell you what to get at Whole Foods. There's always a way. I can tell you what food you need to pack into your car. For instance, dried fruit, nuts, wasabi, peas, shakes, because guess what? It doesn't matter if it's too cold or too hot. They won't ever melt. And that's key, because I used to say protein bars in your car, but then they melt, right? Or they get frozen, and that's just no good. But I can give you all of this kind of stuff. But it's got to start with you knowing, do you travel for work? Or are you someone who you are fortunate and you get to work from home? Or you stay at home with your kids all day? Okay, how can we do it where, you know, prepping a meal while you're prepping it for your kids at the same time works for you? And those are all things that are going to be factored into creating a solution for you, because there is always a solution, I promise. There's always a solution, and we can help find you that. So I know that was very quick, but you might be thinking, okay, so now that's it. That's just what I do. Okay, I have the schedule and I have all my non-negotiables. I figured out how much time I can do to my workouts and what activity I'm going to fit into that. Okay, now what time do I have for healthy meal planning? You know, whether I travel, I don't travel, you know, I factored all that in. Okay, but now what? Honestly, you just have to start. All you need to do is take some sort of action. So if there's 10 minutes after this call and you plan your whole meal plan, you plan all your workouts, and you just want someone to kind of bounce ideas off of, well, you either have my contact information, Amanda's contact information, or the coach that sent you to this. Email them, show them all this time that you put into this, and I guarantee you already have a number one supporter who's going to help you and give you ideas, suggestions, and all of that to keep going with it. But you just have to decide to start. You have your schedule, and taking the 10 minutes right now is proof enough that you care enough about yourself to do something about it. So when you said you were going to work out tomorrow, you know that after this call, you're going to either pack that bag, or you're going to make sure that you set your alarm, you have your entire workout bag ready to go, or you know that, oh my gosh, I'm going to go to the grocery store because I do like going to the grocery store and shopping every day. Or I'm going to make sure that I have, you know, easy ways to eat on the go, or I have a quick breakfast. I'm going to prep my breakfast tomorrow so I can run out the door, but I have my easy to go breakfast. Whatever it is, you just have to do one thing. And it's just that forward momentum that propels other forward momentum. It's just like productivity releases endorphins, and then once you become productive, then you want to be more productive. You know, it's like when you start cleaning one thing, then all of a sudden the rest of that area in your house is completely clean, because you started with one tiny little piece of dust that you wanted to wipe off, and you're like, oh no, I need to get a rag. Okay, let me just dust the whole table. Oh wait, over here's a little dusty. Oh, this is dusty. You know what? I'm just going to dust this whole thing. Okay, now I want to sweep everything, because now I just dusted it onto the floor. Like, it just propels all that momentum. So when I say just get the bike moving, just get the bike moving, because inertia is going to want to keep an object in motion to stay in motion. And lastly, the final step, set reminders. Tell the person you admire the most in this world what your new plan is, and ask them to check in with you on the toughest moments that you know you're not going to want to work out, or the moment that you're going to want to reach for the candy, or you're at work and there's that candy bowl, tell the person that you trust the most to help you out with this. Because I promise you, if you trust them, they're going to want the best for you, and they're going to hop right on board with you trying to be the best version of yourself. Be flexible, adjust, and move on. The biggest thing is that this schedule is going to be a map, it's a guideline. And like any great journey out there, like it always starts with the first step, but the final step is really just being able to say, you know what, I took a wrong turn, or construction happened, or I got stuck in traffic, or I got a flat tire, and you know what, I'm just going to deal with it. I'm going to take care of this problem. I'm going to fix it. And now, tomorrow, I'm going to move on, and I'm going to get right back on track because I have the map. The map is still in the car, and I'm going to get my foot on the gas and keep moving forward. Just adjust and move on. If you have a bad day, you have a bad day, but don't let that one bad day become a series of bad days, or even just a series of bad choices, because no one's perfect in this life, and no one will ever tell you that you can't mess up, because everyone's going to mess up at some point. I mess up with eating healthy, and some days I don't get a workout in. You know, I'm no different than anyone else. I just happen to love fitness, and I'm very passionate about it because I believe people should take care of themselves. So I naturally and innately will fit in a workout some way, shape, or form, because I feel better about myself, and I want other people to feel better about themselves. That's my mission. And so the other thing that I talk a lot about with my clients and customers, and when I used to personal train, was really think back to the last time that you said, you know, I'm going to finally eat healthy. Finally going to do it. I'm really going to kick all the sweets, and I'm not going to, you know, grab cookies and all that stuff. Or when you said, you know, I'm going to start working out again. I'm really going to do it. And when you did it and it didn't end up working out long term, or you did it for maybe 5 days, 6 days, 10 days, but it never stuck. Something came up and you fell completely off the wagon. Think about that moment when you did fall off the wagon, because that's important to know. That's really where you can think, okay, it happened because of X or Y or Z. And now you can look at what X, Y, or Z is. You can research it and figure out, okay, well, how am I going to overcome it the next time? So the next time that I do get a busy day and I miss my workout, what am I going to do? I'm not going to let it stop me from working out the next day. That's not what I'm going to do. Or I'm not going to let it make me feel like I am a failure, because I'm not. It's just one day. It's one day out of 365 days in the year, and I'm going to move on. You think about that moment, because mentally and especially emotionally, that will help you move forward when you hit that spot again. Because if you hit that spot again, you're not thinking, oh, here it comes again, I'm falling off the wagon. You're thinking, oh, I knew this was going to happen. This is great. Now I know how to overcome it. Obstacles will always come up. Planning an activity or planning your next step for when that obstacle does distract you is going to help you maintain success over time. And so now that we went through all the fitness and all the nutrition, step-by-step guide and planning your schedule, you might be wondering, well, I thought this was accountability with fitness, nutrition, and time management. So what happened to the time management? And that's the beauty of this whole thing, is you just did time management. Time management, honestly, to me, is looking at your schedule and your non-negotiable time where you can't do the activity that you want to do, and listing that out so that when you do have time for the activity that you want to do, you have created that time. So even if you're at work from 8 to 5 and you really want to work on this new project and you need 30 minutes every single day, well, you need to just look at your schedule and think, okay, from 8 to 9, I always have a meeting with my boss. There's no way I can get out of that. Okay, at 9:30, I always have, you know, a meeting with my number one client, or I'm doing research about my client. I have a meeting at 10 o'clock. So I can do it realistically at 11:30 to noon. That's what we just did with scheduling our workouts. You have to look at exactly how much time you can dedicate to something so that when you actually have that time, you are focused and you're efficient with it. So I just like the line down here. It goes, sneaky, huh? Because what I find funny is that I had been doing this for years. I had been figuring this out when I was playing soccer in college, and figuring out how to, you know, go to class and go to practice and meet with my tutor and also study and all that. And then even when I got into the fitness world, I was doing it the same way. I was working and then I was training clients and just fitting in the time. Okay, then I have this much time to study on Tuesday for my personal trainer certification, that kind of stuff. And that's all it is. It's sneaky. It's just looking at your realistic schedule. What are your non-negotiables? Black it out and then put in where you want that time to be dedicated to that task. Set reminders, because now everyone has a phone nowadays. Set reminders. I think that's a huge key that technology has saved us a little bit, and it will remind you. But you have no idea how even 10 minutes of planning your week ahead of time will honestly save you hours. Not just one, but like hours during the week. Because again, if you get knocked off course, you're not going to let that stop you. You just are going to wake up the next day and get back on the road. Or if you do come up to something where you are stuck on the road, guess what? There are ways to eat healthy because you've planned and you've taken 10 minutes to research where you're going to be and how you're going to eat healthy. Or you called ahead to the hotel maybe and found out that they do have a workout facility and you can do 10 minutes of a workout before, right away in the morning before you get up and go about your day or go about your vacation. So it saves you a lot of time, even though it seems like a lot of work and a lot of time up front. So what is the ultimate accountability? It's you. You have everything inside of you right now you need to succeed. And I truly believe that. It's called potential, or people call it potential, but honestly, you have everything you need. You got on this webinar for a reason, and not a lot of people schedule, time at night to work on themselves, but you did. So you value yourself. You know you're worth a bigger picture. You know you're worth living life at your own 10, that you're worth being the best version of yourself. So think about that. You have a strong emotional attachment to why you wanted to get onto this webinar. And it's not just, okay, I really did want to schedule my workouts. It is, but when you schedule your workouts to be the best version of yourself, what does that really mean for your life? Like why do you have that innate need? What there's something deep and emotional within you that feels it, that there's something more here. And I know I can do this, but the why, that deep emotional reason for why you want to start working out or why you want to eat healthy, that is what, if you really think about it for 10, 15 minutes, and if you need to, I would really recommend you listen to Simon Sinek, Start With Why, or The Golden Circle on TED Talks, but he talks a lot about this. But your why is going to be that emotional reason. And when you know your why, that's what's going to get you up at 5 a.m. It's what's going to get you to take 10 minutes to plan ahead when you have to travel. It's the why you got on this webinar. It's so much more than that. So think about that. You have everything you need to succeed. And we just gave you an even more great tool to add to your toolbox. You just got to decide that you want it and that you're going to lead with your why. And if you want to go double for nothing, meaning let's say you have your why and you have your emotional connection to why you want to be the best version of yourself, why you want to live life at a 10. There will be days still where that fire that it lights you up inside, that maybe it does rain or maybe the wind does blow too hard. So how do you get that? How do you have that match to really fire you up again and get you going? And there's so many different ways to do it, but there will be days where a flat tire happens, or like I said, you get thrown off course or something like that. But it's okay, because you're going to find the way to get started again. You're going to get the match to light you up. You can have a support partner, someone that either goes on runs with you or goes to yoga classes with you. Maybe it's just someone that checks in on your workouts because they're the person that's always honest with you, that only wants the best for you, but they don't let you get away with anything, right? I mean, we all have that person where they are just so brutally honest with you and they won't let you get away with anything. You can't sneak anything by them because they know you're lying. They're just those great people in your life. Do you have a favorite pump-up jam or music? If you have to go for a run after work and you feel tired, or you wake up in the morning and you feel tired, can you put on a pump-up song? Maybe you get new workout clothes, new sneakers. If you feel like $1 million, your workout is going to be worth $1 million. I totally believe that. Try a new recipe from Pinterest. Pick your favorite meal and research how to, what I call, healthify it. So research, how you can, replace sour cream with Greek yogurt. Simple things like that can change your recipe, by hundreds of calories, just by tiny little healthify ways. Put a reminder of your why. So if you have a picture or a quote, you have a mantra, or you just have that goal in your head of where you want to be in 1 month, in 6 months, in a year, you have a picture or you have, a marathon that you want to run. Put that somewhere where you're going to need it the most. Is it going to be in your car? Is that where you always feel tired and you end up not driving to the gym? Is it going to be by the fridge? Is it going to be by the cookies? You got to find that spot, again, where you always hit that obstacle and seem to fall off the bandwagon. Put your why there. If you always say you're going to get up at 5 a.m. and work out and it never happens, put it right next to your alarm clock. And if you really want to go double for nothing, think about if you had a team of people that was always there to support you. Because being part of something bigger than yourself is what people, at the end of the day, it's what brings happiness to people's lives. Because at the core of who we are as human beings, we are hunter and gatherers. We, at some point, were all just individuals roaming around, and eventually we became hunter and gatherers because we realized there was something about being around other people. And the research shows that if you have a connection to something bigger than yourself, it enhances your life and it leads you to being happier and healthier. And so if you are already on this path to being healthier, and hopefully being healthier is going to make you happier, you have within you right now everything you need. And Team TruHEART might be something that you want to do as a next step, or a challenge group or an accountability group. But studies of people who believe their lives have meaning show big benefits for well-being. And Martin Stiegelman, he is very famous, and I put the tiny URL there, but you can Google him. He's the founder of positive psychology, and he describes that it's a vital component to happiness and well-being. And if you think about all the really great leaders in life, and this is, again, going back to Simon Sinek and Start With Why, he talks about how people get involved with the movement because there's this deep-seated emotional why that the leader brought out in them, and that, being part of something that's bigger than yourself, it brings out the best in you. And that is ultimately what teams are about. I grew up playing soccer, which is a team sport, and I also was a dancer. And it was always about, doing the best as an individual and working on my own goals, but so that when I was with the team, I was better for the team. And that's how I live my life to this day. I think teams, it's so sad that when you get in the business world, teams aren't really quite the same. But I have found that now in Team TruHEART. And there are two incredible ways that you can always have a team of support and accountability and a community that's going to be there for you. Team TruHEART offers support and accountability groups online. It's basically 3 steps to success that we commit to each day, and it's sweat, shake, and support. You have access to your coach, not just through Facebook, but I'm pretty sure that your coach would give you their cell phone number, and you could probably call them, text them. But if you are in, like, for instance, one of my accountability groups, you could call me whenever you want. You can text me whenever you want, because if you think that I don't want to be there for you, you're wrong. I want to be there for you because your goals are important to me, because you're in this group. You're on my team. You're in my little circle, in my nest, in the tree of trust, if you've seen Old School. But that's what you are to me. Like, you're an extension of my success. And I want to pay forward all the things that health and wellness has done